Welcome to Living Marvelously with me, Laurie Jonas. This is the show where we unleash the marvelous potential in every woman. Are you ready to dream big and leap into a life you love? Don't let the expectations of others choose for you. Step out of your comfort zone and learn how to create what your life looks like. I'll take you on an inspirational journey, helping you tap into the wellspring of your inner strength, get clear on your life purpose, and unleash the vision you came into the world to share. On Living Marvelously, you will learn about personal development, self-care, and spirituality. And together, we will connect with others, sharing their unique energies, and learn to create a world that allows everyone to shine. Living Marvelously starts now.
I'm Laurie Jonas, and you are listening to Living Marvelously with Laurie Jonas on Transformation Talk Radio. So stay with me for the next 30 minutes as we discuss the art of simple living. Be sure to join me every second and fourth Thursday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. We'll have some great discussions on how to take full responsibility for your life and to use your inner power to make it marvelous. Before we begin our chat on living simply today, I just want to ask you a question. Are you ready to take control of your life and rediscover your passion? I want to introduce you to my book, if you haven't been introduced to it yet, The 5 L's of Living Marvelously. It's your ultimate guide to living your best life. So you'll dive into the 5 pillars that will help you lead a life full of joy, purpose, and fulfillment. From loving yourself to letting go, this book is packed with insights, real-life stories, and practical tips tailored just for you. So whether you're navigating a career change, embracing an empty nest, or just looking for the spark of inspiration, the 5 L's of Living Marvelously is your perfect companion. So why wait? Grab your copy today and start your journey towards living marvelously. It's available on Amazon. All right. We're going to dive into the art of living simply. In a world filled with noise and distractions, how can we find clarity and create space for what truly matters? The answer lies in the art of living simply. Living simply isn't about deprivation, but rather it's about intentional choices that align with your values. It's about living with purpose and shedding the excess that weighs you down. When we live simply, we live with intention. We know what's important to us and where to put our efforts. We no longer strive to meet other people's expectations, but instead we focus on our own unique path. And simplifying your life really just starts with small steps. Maybe it's planning meals for the week or making sure you're not just leaving your mail thrown all over your table. You're organizing it. Maybe it's decluttering one closet this week or one drawer. Maybe it's actually looking at your checking account and seeing how much money you have and making some clear decisions on how you're going to spend it this week. Or maybe it's taking your wardrobe and making it smaller so that you have clear choices of what you feel good in your closet, and it's easy to pick those choices every day. So every action will bring you closer to a simpler, more fulfilling life. And the key to living simply is really just to identify your priorities. So what truly matters to you? Is it your relationships? Is it your health? Is it your personal growth? Is it your business? Once you know what your priorities are, you can really let go of the things that, don't align with them. And then you create space for what truly does. So I want to make sure you know what living simply is not. Living simply is not overwhelming. It's not stressful. It's not rushed. It's not feeling unworthy. It's really not keeping up with the latest and greatest new fad. When we keep reaching for that next best thing, we will never get to our happiness because there's always going to be something better out there. If we can accept where we are right now, that doesn't mean we don't want things to be better, because we can always have desires and we can always take baby steps to get to that desire. But we're happy where we are now, and happiness is our truth and our reality. So it's not when we get something else when we're going to be happy. So think about it maybe in terms of, current trends in dieting. Most fad diets are very restrictive and really not sustainable. So we tend to go back to our habits that are probably not very healthy. So when you live simply, maybe you would just have a few meals you like to make that satisfy you and taste good. And you make sure you have the ingredients on hand every week to make them. Or maybe you meal plan and you shop on Sundays so you know what you're going to have for the entire week and you're not scrambling for something each night. I know this is not simple to everyone. It's not simple to me and I struggle with it. But what my husband and I have learned is he's the one that cooks and we have certain meals that we enjoy and he likes to make. So we always have those ingredients on hand. If we don't know what we're going to make, we can say, oh, well, we can have this, right? So it just makes life a little more simple. But, it makes meal times easier, or even better than any kind of diet is to just accept where you are today and then make those small changes that can really help you in the long run. Okay, let's think about money. Most of us are always thinking we need more, right? But when we live simply, we know what our priorities are and where we want to spend our money. We know that we will always have enough. And maybe you love to travel, so you know that you will put away a certain amount of money every week to save for those amazing trips. That might mean you eat in most nights because you're going out to restaurants really isn't a priority for you. You getting the point here? Another thing maybe is our digital lives, right? They can benefit from a lot of simplicity by setting boundaries for when you check your email, setting boundaries of when you're on social media, and maybe it's decluttering your digital spaces regularly. We can really stay focused, organized, and present in our daily lives. And then finally, living simply might be, like we talked about earlier, the wardrobe. How can it bring you a sense of ease and efficiency to your mornings? Maybe it's only keeping the clothes you love and wear regularly. You'll really save a lot of time and energy when you can go to your closet and go, yep, this shirt fits me well. I'm going to put this on today, instead of, oh, what am I going to wear today? And trying 5 things on and then throwing half of it on your bed because you're like, I don't feel good in that. Well, get rid of that stuff. Make it simpler. Okay, but one thing I want to remind you, and which is really important in living simply, is that the universe provides you with everything you need to reach your biggest desires. Living simply means trusting that what you need will come. And how do you do that? How can you practice patience in knowing you already have what you need? Well, there are a couple of ways. You can pay attention to what's happening in your environment. Who are you meeting? What is being presented to you? What ideas are piquing your interest? What are you doing when you're losing track of time during the day? When you notice those things, then how do you respond to them? Those things might be exactly what you need to achieve your desires. So pay attention. It makes life more simple because you don't have to go out and chase things. You don't have to be overwhelmed or stressed or how am I going to get this? How am I going to do this? You can just kind of sit back and be, this is what I desire. What can the universe bring to me? And then you start paying attention. Another thing you can do is to really live as if your dreams and desires are already a reality. For example, if you're looking for a partner, maybe you clear out room in your closet and make space for them. Or if you want a promotion, maybe you dress the part and you start doing some research to be the best at that position. Or if you want to lose weight so you can play with your grandchildren, start doing whatever you can to play with them now. Start playing with them. And then you might make simple choices like, well, you know what? I was playing with them, but it was a little bit hard to get up. Maybe I need to do some more stretching or something. But start doing what you want to do now and live as if your desires have already come true. Another way is with gratitude. It's a really simple yet powerful practice that can transform your outlook on life. Cultivating gratitude can bring more simplicity and joy to your days because you're taking a moment to reflect on what you're thankful for. We shift our focus from what's missing to what we already have. And this practice can be as simple as keeping a gratitude journal, sharing your appreciation with loved ones, or just pausing to notice the beauty in everyday moments. When you can be grateful and appreciate everything you already have, it really makes life more simple because you're not thinking of what you don't have. You're not thinking of what you think you need to have. Another way is to really slow down and live in the moment, to take a break from, like I just said, always looking at what's next or what is better. In the rush of our daily lives, we often forget the power of slowing down. Really, embrace that concept. Savor your moments. Be present. Find joy in the journey rather than in the destination. It's about taking time to really, maybe you're enjoying a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, having a leisurely conversation without worrying about where you have to be next, or simply just sitting down and breathing deeply. Slow living encourages us to focus on quality over quantity and to appreciate the richness of each moment. So let's slow down and discover the beauty and peace that come with a more deliberate pace. And those are just a few ways that we show the universe that what we want, and then we invite the universe to provide us what we need. All right, I'm going to give you a few more ways to live simply. And the first one is it's placing less value on others' expectations. And this is a really big topic for me. And I love to share this as much as possible because when we value what other people expect of us more than what we want for ourselves, that's not living simply. That we can really stress ourselves out when we worry about how we are affecting others and how they want us to be. We need to come back to ourselves. And that's not being selfish. We want every single person on this planet to come back to themselves. It's not just you against the world. It's everyone doing this so that everyone can live harmoniously. Another one is saying no to things that really don't bring you joy. It's recognizing that our time and energy are limited and precious. So by saying no to things that don't align with our values and bring us joy, we make room for what really matters. And that's more living simply. So I know there's like tasks like cleaning, laundry, yard work, your job, making money to pay bills that aren't necessarily joyful. They could be joyful. You just got to change your perspective, but we have to do them, right? So I'm talking about maybe not volunteering for that next committee or going to another party or, staying home another night. All right. Planning your week. Make sure to plan your week. Be more diligent about what you're doing. Like maybe it's 5 minutes on a Sunday and say, okay, our husband and I do this every Sunday. We say, what's your week look like next week? What's my week? Who's going to do this? Who's going to do this? It just makes it a little more simple. So we're not missing things. We're not forgetting things. We have a plan for how it's going to go. Create routines for the same reason. Maybe you want to get your journaling in every day, so you have a routine in the morning to do that. Being mindful about what you're consuming. Having a household chores routine. Maybe it's taking a half day to run errands and catch up on paperwork. I keep a pile of bills, correspondence, other little computer tasks next to my computer or at my desk. And then when I have time, I'll go downstairs is where my computer is. And that's what I'll just take a few, maybe it's even a half hour is all I need to get through all those papers, but then it's done. And I do that on a weekly basis. Let's see, what else? Keep your workspace clean and organized. It's important to have blank space to create. So if you can let go of some of that excess, keep yourself organized, it's really helpful in living simply. I mean, I'm sure you know that and you can see that. If you're walking into your house and there's clutter everywhere, it's probably just creating a lot of stress in your life. So let's clear it out and find more ease. And of course, delegate when you can. You're not a superhero. We don't have to do everything. Sometimes we need a little help, and it's okay to ask. What you are not good at, someone else is, so let them do it. All right, we're going to take a quick break here. I'm Laurie Jonas, and you are listening to Living Marvelously. When we come back, I'm going to change gears a little bit, and we're going to talk about Taoism and how it promotes a simple life. So we'll see you in a little bit. Okay, welcome back. We're back on Living Marvelously with me, Laurie Jonas. And before we continue, I want to invite you to check out my website, livingmarvelously.com, where I have almost 300 blog posts to inspire you to live your most marvelous life and to really see the power you have in creating it. Okay, let's continue our discussion. So we were talking about living simply and how it just creates room to really achieve all that you desire. When you give up some of that stuff that's not really important to you, you can really focus on what is. And several years ago, I read a book with 81 verses of I think you pronounce it Dow Chang, written by Lao Tzu. I remember writing lots of quotes down in my journal while walking on my treadmill next to the window in our bedroom. I don't know why this memory is so vivid to me, or what kind of workout I got if I was writing down quotes during it. But except that the verses were really powerful and they were too powerful to forget. And I've thought about those quotes on and off throughout the years. And just recently I read something that piqued my interest again. And it said that the Tao Te Ching teaches you to go with the flow of life. And if any of you listening knew my mom, Marvel, that was one of her favorite sayings. She's the inspiration for living marvelously. And she used to always say, go with the flow. Sometimes it was really annoying because I'd come to her and complain about something and she'd be like, oh, go with the flow. And I'd be like, what? That's your answer to this? And other times it was really just what I needed to hear. But, looking back, I think what she was really trying to say without even knowing that she was being so wise was, quit getting so worked up and make life simple, follow the flow of joy. And it really hits me now because I think back to some of the things my mom said, and I know she was prepping me for this time in my life. So I decided I needed to look up my favorite quotes again because, of course, I can't find the book or my notes from way back on my treadmill. But this time I put them on my blog, and now I want to share some of those with you. So the Tao is a Chinese word signifying the way, path, route, road, or sometimes more loosely doctrine, principle, or holistic beliefs. The Tao can be roughly thought of as the flow of the universe or as some essence or pattern behind the natural world that keeps the universe balanced and ordered. I found a great article called Taoism 101, and in it, it said, the path of understanding Taoism is simply accepting oneself. This leads to inner peace. Live life and discover who you are. Your nature is ever changing and is always the same. Don't try to resolve the various contradictions in life. Instead, learn acceptance of your nature. Taoism teaches a person to flow with life. I really love that. So the Tao Te Ching actually consists of 81 verses written by Lao Tzu and they've been translated by hundreds of people. And eventually those translations became much easier to read. When they were first written, they were, I guess the best word is just difficult to really understand, but they've been translated to make it easier. So if you're looking for some inspiration and motivation to live a simpler, more peaceful, and authentic life, I think you will really love these quotes. So I am going to share some with you. The snow geese need not bathe to make itself white. Neither need you do anything but be yourself. Isn't that amazing? I love that. The snow goose was born white. It doesn't need to make itself white. You were born beautiful. You don't have to make yourself beautiful. You already are. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. Think about that. The trees grow, the flowers bloom. You know, sometimes we have too much rain, sometimes we have not enough rain, sometimes there's not enough sun, but they still bloom. Nature still happens. If you realize that all things change, there is nothing you will try to hold on to. If you are not afraid of dying, there is nothing you cannot achieve. That's really something to think about, right? One who is too insistent on his own views finds few to agree with him. That's a good one for my husband, right? Act without expectation. I love this one because I've even written a post about it. So do things without expecting anything from anyone else. Just be kind. Just be of service. Do nice things for other people and don't hold it against them if they're not returning it. They could be in a completely different place than you are and aren't able to, but they will in time. It'll come around. That's called karma. It's beautiful. So just do those things without expecting anyone to do anything for you in return. By letting it go, it all gets done. The world is won by those who let it go. But when you try and try, the world is beyond winning. That's that one is deep because by letting it go, it all gets done. And I think it goes back to what we were talking about in the first part of the show. When you allow the universe to bring you what you need, you're kind of letting it go, right? When you let go, but when you try and try, you are going against what the universe, when you're trying to do the hows of what the universe can do for you. So just back off a little bit. To the mind that is still, the whole universe surrenders. Do the difficult things while they are easy, and do the great things while they are small. A journey of 1,000 miles must begin with a single step. And this one is one of my favorites, and kind of what brought, when I was doing my show on Living Simply, I saw this quote and I thought, oh, I got to go look at those quotes again. I have just 3 things to teach: simplicity, patience, and compassion. These 3 are your greatest treasures. When you are content to be yourself and don't compare or compete, everybody will respect you. Isn't that interesting? If you could just be content to be yourself, don't compare yourself to anyone else, don't compete with anybody else, people are going to see that in you and they will respect you. Be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize nothing is lacking, the whole world belongs to you. It just sums it all up, I think. At the center of your being, you have the answer. You know who you are and you know what you want. Remind yourself daily, there is no way to happiness. Happiness is the way. This next one is one I teach all the time, and I love it. Watch your thoughts, they become words. Watch your words, they become actions. Watch your actions, they become habits. And watch your habits because they become character. And watch your character because it becomes your destiny. It all starts with your thoughts and it becomes your destiny. Only when we are sick of our sickness shall we cease to be sick. If you realize that you have enough, you are truly rich. To attain knowledge, add things every day. To attain wisdom, remove things every day. And just a couple more here. Fill your bowl to the brim and it will spill. Keep sharpening your knife and it will blunt. Chase after money and security and your heart will never unclench. Care about other people's approval and you will be their prisoner. Do your work, then step back, the only path to serenity. And finally, those who flow as life flows know they need no other force. I love that. So now I have these quotes that I'm going to come back to from time to time, and it's amazing. Look, think about just those few quotes, how much wisdom I just gave you. So thank you, Mom, for repeatedly instilling this in my mind. So which of these quotes resonate most with you? Thank you for all tuning in to my show today on Living Marvelously. I hope I've inspired you to experiment with living a more simple life. Reach out to me if you need more help. Please join me every second and fourth Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific time. And next time on Living Marvelously, we're going to talk about setting boundaries so you can live that simple life. I will see you next time.
Thank you for listening to Living Marvelously with me, your host, Laurie Jonas. Tune in next time to unleash the marvelous potential in every woman, every second and fourth Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com as I help you choose a life that you are passionate about. Learn to embrace your unique self, dream big, and leap into what you choose to have your marvelous life look like. Together we create a world that allows everyone to shine. For more information, visit livingmarvelously.com. That's livingmarvelously.com. See you next time on Living Marvelously.